Hey home builder, Jon Markee here, your Builder CPA, and today I want to address a lot of things I've seen where home builders are taking on debt. So there's a lot to unpack here. I know that no home builder sets out with the intention of running their business based on debt, but sometimes it can be unavoidable. But we need to unpack what happened up until this point where you feel like you are to the point where you need to take on debt and what justifies that debt. So if you are working with a homeowner and maybe you're cost plus, you're building a very specific home, it's custom, I don't see any reason to ever take on debt for that homeowner. It is their house. They've contracted you to do the work. You have the customer already in mind. You should never be in a position where you are fronting the money on their job. And there's a few different ways that you can avoid this. You can collect a deposit from them and say that you will only work off of their money, and when it runs out, you ask for more. Or you can set up a separate bank account and maybe they have visibility to that so they can see what you're buying. However, that is a little more inconvenient for you because it probably means you have to order separate check stock. You have to arrange a way to make payments to people from this bank account. Who owns the bank account? There's a lot to understand with that as well, but I do think that is better than you fronting the money. I guess I'm intrigued by the homeowners who think that a builder should front the cost of their project. I understand there can be apprehension on both sides. The homeowner is nervous about the type of work you do, and you are nervous about the homeowner's ability to pay. And as a home builder, I really hope that you have some kind of assurance that the homeowner actually has the money, because I have seen far too many situations where the end of the project is near and the homeowner runs out of money, and the builder, the entire profit that they have on that job is wrapped up in that last draw payment. So if that homeowner does not make that last draw payment, the builder potentially loses all of their profit on that job, which obviously can be devastating. So that's one scenario. If you are building for a specific homeowner, you definitely need to have assurance that they have the means to pay you. Maybe there's a bank involved and the property is secured with a mortgage, in which case, as long as you meet the criteria, the bank should release the funds to you and you should be okay. But if you have a specific homeowner who's signed up for this property and they're calling the shots as far as how it gets built and it's a custom ordeal, I really do not believe you should be working off of your own money to finance that. Then we have another situation where builders are building based on speculation. And a lot of times this is much more convenient and profitable for the builder because they do not have to deal with a moody home builder during the home build process. And in this case, I do think it is okay to work with a trusted bank or financial institution to take out a construction loan or line of credit to finance the job while it's under construction. And then hopefully it's at a reasonable interest rate. And then at the end, you can sell it for a market rate and make a secure profit margin. The risk here is trying to play the market. What happens if we have some kind of an unexpected global or national crisis that destroys pricing in the real estate market? When you go to unload that property in the market, you could get screwed over, because if prices plummet, you just have to accept whatever a buyer is willing to pay at the moment. So you kind of have to have a backup plan because you don't want to sell your project at a loss, and you need to be able to fund your operation for a certain amount of time after the project is done. We have another story to talk about. If your build starts to have a birthday, that means you are carrying inventory for way too long. So in general, I would say if we're talking about taking on debt, if you have a specific homeowner, it's really not a good idea to front the cost of their project. You need to get paid as soon as possible. You're human, just like the rest of us. You have to get paid for the work that you have done. If you're building on speculation, you might have a higher profit potential. So it could make sense to take on some debt there and then wait until the job is done and then sell it for a healthy margin. It all needs to be well calculated. You need to have a plan. You need to have an anticipated profit margin. You have to know who's on your team, how much they cost, and how you're going to pay them. All of these things factor into the decision of whether or not to take on debt. So it is a complicated decision. You need to weigh interest rates. Never shop for debt based on the monthly payment. I'm sure you've heard this before. And I hope I hope this sheds some light, because I see way too many home builders take on debt when they should not have. So if you have any questions about this topic, I can't say that I will know all of the answers. Your banker might be a better solution, but you can always drop a comment or send me an email if you're contemplating taking out a line of credit or any other kind of debt. Hope this helps. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.